All right. Hello, Andy Kemper. We are live from the Veterans Memorial Coliseum. We'll give it just a second here for others to join us. How are you doing so far?
Doing good, man. A couple good weekend games of hockey here at the VMC with our good friends, the blue seats and the red seats, watching. So it was good hockey, and two big wins for Portland in the U.S. Division standings.
Yeah. So we'll give it just another minute here for people to start kind of trickling in. Hopefully, people are able to hear us. We're using up a little bit of the bandwidth on the old media access video, but that is what it is. So yeah, so why don't we go ahead and get started? We're starting to see some people trickling in. Hopefully they can hear us. If you can, maybe can you just give us a shout out or something if you can hear us. But anyway, Andy, let's start there here. 4 points for the Winterhawks, and they move. I'm sorry, I'm catching weird audio. I don't know what's
a little echo or something.
Yeah, we got an echo. Select a speaker. I don't know if I'm hearing it from my own or what. Maybe it's coming from the YouTube thing. I don't know. All right, I'll fight through it. So let's start with you. What are your thoughts and kind of how you feel that the team did?
Well, I thought Portland played pretty well actually for the majority of the weekend. Obviously, last night they got off to the quick start, the 2 goals in the first 2 minutes to really set the tone, and then the special teams took over and 3 power play goals. Obviously, that's an area that has been a bit of a bugaboo in the season, is the power play for Portland, not being able to convert at the rate that many people probably expected them to. We got Josh doing a walk around in the building.
I think I'm getting myself. I think I'm hearing myself on your microphone, I think is what was happening.
So there you go.
So because now I'm not getting it. So all right, go ahead.
Anyway,
please continue.
But
the joys.
It was technology, isn't it great? Yeah, but the 6-3 win last night, and it was a good win for Portland. Good to see Seth Jarvis get rewarded. 3 goals for him last night, and a guy that has been a bit snake bit, I think, this season. He's had some really good looks that he hasn't converted on, but last night he found a way to put 3 home, and then tonight they give up the goal early. I mean, 22 seconds in, and it looked like Seattle had all the jump, but Portland took over pretty quickly after that, and eventually got the 2 goals from Kloss in the second to take control of the game. And Dante didn't allow any other goals after the first shot on net. So end of the night, 4 points. Now, distancing them from Seattle, 5 points up in the race for second, and also 5 points behind Everett in the race for first. So 2 good wins for Portland.
I think one of the things that really stood out to me this weekend was just how each line had a different, or each game had a different line that was really kind of the driving force. Mm-hmm. You saw it last night with Jarvis and Dureau. Tonight it was, Gabe Clausen and Knack, and Newkirk. They just, it just seemed to, it makes Portland hard to play against when teams can't solely focus on the Jarvis and Dureau line. And,
yeah, absolutely.
Go ahead.
I would say absolutely. I mean, you have to have options, right? And for Mike Johnston, he has two solid tops, 2 solid lines as top 6 forwards. And he's got his 3rd line tonight, which played, I thought, really well with Manic, From, Delorme, and Gervais. And then even the younger line, which is Ousby, Bevington, and Newen, had their moments tonight. And, whenever you have 2 options to go out there to get you scoring, that's huge. And that's the differentiator between Portland and Seattle right now, is Seattle really only has that Rybinski line with Jerry Leone as their scoring threat. And tonight Portland, took advantage of that Knack and Newkirk line with Clausen, because they were the dominant force offensively. And it's good to see Gabe Clausen get rewarded with 2 goals. It would be nice to see him get the hat trick there on the empty netter late, but yep. 2 goals for him is a big night, and Simon Knack with 3 points. So all things considered, those were the guys who led the charge tonight for Portland.
And Januzzi really this weekend I thought was really strong, especially last night with a couple of big glove saves.
Yep.
And then tonight, his left pad was working pretty well. I think some of their best chances that didn't go in were some big pad saves, out challenging the shooter as well. So he even had a shot at that empty net there for a second, up by 2 goals. So, asked Gabe Clausen and Kyle Gustafson about that in the post-game press conferences, and they just talked about how, sure, it's not the start that you want, giving up a goal 22 seconds in, but he shut the door and he allowed the team to kind of, move forward from that, and the team helped him out as well. So it was good to see how Januzzi battled back from some adversity early on.
Absolutely. His numbers have been good all year. His record probably isn't where he wants it to be. It's 5-5, 3-0 now. But early in the year, he wasn't getting many goal support from the Winterhawks. He had to keep the scoring down below 3 to have a chance to win the hockey games because Portland wasn't getting him the offense. Tonight and last night, they give 10 goals. And if you give any starting goaltender 5 goals a night, they're going to say thank you very much and move on. And I mentioned it in my last blog post on the PW Hockey Talk website is, his numbers, when you look at career-wise, even though he's hasn't played a ton of games, this is his 26th career Western Hockey League game, which gives him enough games to get into the Winterhawks media guide as far as goalie statistics go. And his goals against average is second all time for anybody who's played at least 25 games. You can't sneeze at that. I mean, that's a good number of games, an opportunity to show. And I think he's like 2.58, or at least I think he was tonight coming into the game, a 2.58 career, and he's going to go down tonight. So you got to give him marks. He's not the biggest goaltender. I mean, we're used to seeing Joel Hofer-sized goaltenders, 6'4" guys, and I think Dante, is listed at 6'1". Might be generous, but he makes the saves that he has to make, and I think tonight he really picked it up after giving the first goal. You can't blame him on the first goal. As our good friend Rick's in the background. Hey, Rick. Rick's a cameraman. Hi, Rick. You're on the web. Hey, Rick. That's okay. Yeah, he gets his 5 minutes of fame.
Yeah.
Anyway,
you gotta love when the guys behind the scenes get in front of the scenes, right? So it's good stuff. So as people are coming in here, we're happy to take any questions or comments that you might have. Throw those in the YouTube chat there, and we'll get to those as soon as we can. Do want to just give a quick thank you to Jay Rallison Cellars for making this possible tonight. He has a small boutique winery in Old Town Sherwood. Go visit him. Mention PNW Hockey Talk or the Winterhawks. He'll give you 2-for-1 tastings. So would love to be able to support him as he's supported us. And at PNW Hockey Talk, he makes all of our articles able to be free. We've got a couple other people that are kind of behind the scenes helping us out, allowing us to try and give you guys as much content as we can, get me up to road games and things like that. So, we do the best we can to try and provide a clean support or in a clean site. So support them if you can. But back to the, shameless plugs aside, the other thing, Andy, that was really strong this weekend was the penalty kill. They were perfect on both when it was truly a penalty kill situation. And as I've learned from talking with Mike Johnson several times, he counts his penalty kills when the goalie is pulled as well. Kind of man short situations, I guess you could say. Long stretch tonight with the goalie pulled, and they were +1 on it. And depending upon, we'll have to look and see if the manacle is technically, shorthanded or not. It was kind of right as the guy was coming out, but
actually, I looked at it. Based on the clock, it actually came 2 seconds after Newkirk's penalty expired.
2 seconds after, it's okay.
Officially on the game sheet, so not a shorthanded goal.
Not a shorthanded goal, but regardless, they had a couple shot blocks from Broenberg, and they got the saves from Januzzi when they needed them. What did you see from the penalty kill this weekend?
Well, I think we've seen it strong on home ice all year long. I think that's one area that Portland has really excelled at here on home ice. And it actually, I think I saw the stat tonight that, after tonight's game, the Winterhawks are actually +3 on the penalty kill. That doesn't count the empty nets where they scored 3 more shorthanded goals than they've allowed on home ice. And so kind of hard to beat that stat. But I think what we're seeing on the PK is the commitment to playing strong positionally, but also getting into shooting lanes. And, you talk about block shots. Those are huge, but, the old adage is that your goaltender has to be your best penalty killer. And Dante's been that. And, the one thing about it, Portland hasn't gone shorthanded a ton this
Right.
year. I think they're only averaging like 3.07 shorthanded opportunities against the game. That's not that's low. That's really low.
Right.
And so that helps, keep the opportunities down. And, and when they've had the opportunity to go shorthanded and get a chance to score, they haven't passed it up. And I think that aggressiveness also leads to a strong penalty kill. And I think that's something that is instructed by, Don Hay, Mike Johnston, and Kyle Gustafson behind the benches. Play strong in your own zone, but if you get a chance, force the other team, try to force turnovers, try to force them to go backwards. And I think that's what you're seeing from the penalty kill.
Yeah. And, Don Hay talks about it all the time about, if the puck is outside of the zone, that's your best penalty kill, right? They're not even there. Right. And I think one of the things that they were really strong about tonight was denying zone entry. They made it difficult on Seattle to get the zone when they did have it. Portland was really strong on faceoffs this weekend. I didn't see what the final numbers were for tonight, according to the game sheet, but I imagine they were pretty good. Again, in that category, maybe you have those up on your screen.
I can actually bring it up. I don't have it here in front of me, but
yeah, let's see. I think I have it maybe on my, I don't know. It doesn't matter. Regardless, Portland was strong in the faceoff zone, in the faceoff dots, and Tyson Kozak was out there for a lot of key faceoffs. Newkirk, Johnson had mentioned last weekend that he really liked the Newkirk versus Rubinski matchup in the faceoff dot, and Gabe Clausen came through strong in the faceoff dot as well, in kind of a couple key situations. So
faceoff wins tonight, 30 for Portland, 19 for Seattle.
Okay, and I think it was like 43 something, 16.
43 to 18, I think last night.
Yeah. So, and that goes back to Portland, how Portland wants to play, which is puck possession. Yeah. And, there was that stretch there in the second period where Seattle took 4 straight penalties. And some of that is, I think Seattle's bench was getting a little fired up, but when you don't have the puck, you're chasing, you're reaching, you're trying to get it back. And it's harder to pick up, penalties when you don't have the puck. So, and one of them you can't argue because there's a, puck over the glass.
Right.
But so Portland's just what was really strong with the puck possession tonight.
Yeah, and that's their game. I mean, that's what they want to do is hold the puck, force teams to chase, force teams to get tired of the defensive zone, and then continue to move the puck and regain the puck in the offensive zone. And I think that's one thing that Mike Johnston talks about a lot is puck retention. If you do lose it, you fight, you get it back, you don't allow it to get out of the zone, and you go right back into the grind game and cycle. And one thing I thought Portland did really well the last 2 nights was the high to low plays, and back and reverse actually. 2 goals tonight for Gabe Clausen came off end board passes, where he was in the slot and the puck got to him in the slot. Or actually, the second one was. The first one was more of a rush, but we've seen some goals like that where Portland has the puck down low and they're making smart decisions, either playing it back to the blue line to get shots into the point or moving into the slot to get shots in the prime scoring area. And that's one thing that I think this team has done well recently is that puck retention and forcing teams to chase. I mean, obviously Seattle's shorthanded. We know that. They get a very young team. I think their average age was just over 17 tonight. And so, Portland had some more veteran presence. Seattle's missing a big defenseman in Cade McNally, who was out the last 2 nights. So that just helps Portland's cause. But I think Portland did what they had to do and really limited Seattle's opportunities when they did get into the offensive zone.
Yeah, and Roulette's at the U18s, and Thomas Milic is their starting goaltenders at the U18s as well. So Peyton Mount's out with, after that scary situation with him getting hit on the bench, and Matthew Rempe, their big strong center drafted guy is out as well. That changes their power play drastically when you've got.
He could change a game. He just has that presence about him.
Yeah, and he's just big, and mass always wins. And some of Portland, we saw it the first couple of games when they got Odette was able to get him out against Shazowski and Newen, and that's just they're 2 different types of human beings at that at that point. And you just kind of like whatever's like what's going on here. So exactly. But this is in a season that's like this, and we've talked about it when we've done these shows in the past. It's about development, and what better year for Seattle to have this opportunity to give Korchinski and to give Gustafson and Ludwig and Hansel and all these guys that they have, give them that opportunity to get live game reps, go up against Seth Jarvis, go up against Adam Beckman, Gage Gonsalves. They get that real kind of experience in a season where they might not normally.
Right. Well, that's exactly it. I mean, this is going to pay off for them next year and the year down the road and the year down the road after that. So this is just going to continue to grow the development of these players. And Portland's done it with their young defensemen, I think more so than the forwards this year, with Ryder Thompson and Luca Cannoni and Ryan McCleary, who's really shown that he's going to be a big-time defenseman in this Western Hockey League, at least what we're seeing from him early on.
Yep.
And Brody Tallman as well. And then the forwards, Chizowski has 4 goals, which is a good number for a 16-year-old in only 16 games. And then tonight, I thought we saw some really good shifts from Newen and Bevington as well. And Litke, even though he's been hampered a bit by injuries, has shown that he can be a presence as well. So it really is development. And that's, we've talked about it a lot, and I think people are probably tired of hearing us talk about it when we do talk about it. But I think that's the thing that we're focused on, right? You
Right.
want to see the development. You want to see the guys, really put forth effort. And I think that's been there. So.
Yeah. And one guy who left the team in Luke Shelter, he signed and he came in during the season, and he was playing out of Minnesota there, with North Star Christian Academy, I believe it is, and comes in, gets 6 games. That's the rule between USA Hockey and the CHL, Hockey Canada. They're allowed 6 games, regardless of whether or not their team season is over or not. So Luke Shelter got his 6 games and headed back to Minnesota, I believe either today or late last night. But big, strong kid for a 16-year-old, heavy shot. I talked to him last night, and he mentioned that he's got to work on his skating and his agility. And I'll put words in his mouth when I'll say he's kind of like a diesel truck. Once he gets going, he's going and he's a force, but he's got to get up through the gears. And he acknowledged that and said that's the area of his game that he wants to work on. And Seth Jarvis said, when he was a first year player, he got a few games, his 15-year-old year actually, and he said Luke doesn't know how valuable those are until he's back next year,
right?
Because he got a chance to see what the speed's like. He got a chance to see what the physicality, the goaltending, the grind, the bus, everything, the billet situation, all of it. And so that's a really huge thing for Portland. And I got to imagine that the coaching staff liked what they saw from Shelter.
I would think so. I mean, obviously he is a big body. He's kind of, a little different mold than what we've seen from the younger Portland players that have come in the past few years. And, but Mike Johnson does like to have some size in his forward groups. I mean, we've seen it over the years with, the Taylor Peters and Riley Boychucks and Alex Overharts and a few others that brought some size to the forward lines. And I think what we saw from Shelter was that, he got better every game as he went along. And you can see his confidence start to grow. He had a great opportunity to get his first goal last night on a wrist shot from between the hash marks that if it doesn't hit the shaft of the stick of Jackson Berry, it's in the net. And so I think you saw that confidence growing. And I think that's just something he can take back to Colorado and his workouts and to get ready for training camp in August and come in and next year and have an opportunity to be a big part of what the Portland Winterhawks offense will be.
Yeah, and it's hard not to make comparisons to Jake Gracious, right? Because it's kind of the same kind of style player, and maybe he can a young Jake Gracious. So who knows what we'll see there. So coming up next is Everett. They got 2 games this week, Tuesday and Friday. Tuesday and Friday, I believe.
Friday.
Tuesday, Friday. If I know my schedule. What do you look for out of those 2 games, Andy?
Well, I'd like to see, Portland had some good games against Everett up in Everett, where they started off really strongly. I think they started off really out of the gate fast. They scored 2 goals in the first 2 shots in a game, and we actually had a 4-1 lead that they weren't able to hold on to in the third. And then the next game that, it was a close game, a 1-goal game heading into the third, and Everett once again pulled away in that final period. So I think for Portland, you take out of it that they have been able to at least get some goals past, Dustin Wolf, who arguably is the best goaltender in the Western Hockey League. And, Everett's playing the best hockey of anybody in the Western Conference right now. At least that I've seen. I've watched some of the BC Division games also, but, they're clicking. They're scoring goals. They're not allowing a lot. And it's going to be a tough task But I think, for Portland, I think it would be a huge confidence builder to get a win either Tuesday or Friday or both. I mean, if they win both, it's even better. And then they close the gap and could be only 1 point out at first. They find a way to win those 2 games. I think it just comes down to playing, smart and disciplined hockey and putting pressure on the Everett defense and forcing them to turn their backs and chase pucks and then get in tight on Dustin Wolf and take away his sight lines and try to do all the things that you need to do to score on him. But I'm looking forward to it. I mean, obviously you want to play tough teams. You want to play, try to step up that challenge. And I think Portland has a bit of a chip on its shoulder. They haven't beat Everett this year. In fact, I think the win streak is now close to 7 or 8 games.
Yep, dating back to last year. Yep,
dating back to last year. So I think for Portland, it's a chance to break that and hopefully find a way to get 2 points and continue their strong play on home ice because they have been good at home. In the 8 games, they're 6-0-2 here in Portland. So it's going to be a big test, but I'm looking forward to being here Tuesday night to watch it.
And I think one of the big things that will happen is Portland will have last change. And, I think sometimes that gets lost in games and how much of a difference that can make. And, the Winterhawks coaching staff will be able to determine, when do they want to get Jarvis out? Can they sneak him out against a third line or something like that? And, and I think, again, it comes down to special teams, right? When you got a chance against Everett, you've got to put the puck in the net on. If they get a 5-on-3, it almost becomes a must. Right. And, I don't know what the stats are, from hockey overall, but when you don't score on 5-on-3s, it comes back to bite you. And, Clausen was able to get that one tonight. That was 5-on-4, but that was just a huge momentum shift because you could start to see Seattle's bench getting riled up and Portland kind of starting to maybe not get defeated because they don't really have that mindset, but it makes a big difference. So special teams is obviously going to come into play. And, starting the game on time, I think every single interview we've done this year after post-game shows, one of the coaches has brought up the start and whether they liked it or didn't like it. And so it seems to be a real high focus. I know Johnson's had a mentality of 10 shots in the first 10 minutes for probably as long as he's been here. That'll be tough to do against Everett, but if they can keep possession of the puck and, I always go back to, can they score first to make Everett chase? They're not the same team that, New Jersey Devils of the 90s and 2000s, like they were a couple of years ago, but it's still an opportunity to kind of take Everett out of their style of game.
Yeah. And Everett's, lost to every team in the division except for Portland this year. So I think Portland can take a look at that and want to put that quill in their, or the feather of their quill, whatever you want to say. I don't even know what the saying is, but that sounds like a good one. It just kind of, make it their own game and take it to them and just, play as hard as you can and force them to maybe turn over the puck more than they normally do and get pressure in on Dustin Wolf early. And because we've seen, when Wolf gets on a roll, I think the last game when Portland was up in Everett, the first period, I think Portland had 16 to 17 shots on goal, didn't score. And that turned the whole tide of the game. And because Portland had 6 or 7 really good looks in that first period, but were unrewarded for it. So if they can get 1 or 2, it makes it a different game because Everett does shut it down when they get the lead. And, they're a little different than it used to be. It's not a full shutdown. Now it's more of an offensive press. When they got the lead, they just want to keep adding on and adding on and adding on. And Dennis Williams has shown that he's going to ride his big guns. I think we've seen that in the games we played, and I think I wouldn't expect anything different on Tuesday.
And it's worth noting that they'll be out without Olin Zellweger, who's also at the U18s. So that could be an interesting development for them. I think he was out for the last time the two teams met. So there'll be, Portland's seen it. Everett's had an opportunity to play a couple games without him. So, it'll be exciting. It's always fun when these two teams, come together. And, like you, I'm looking forward to being back in the building Tuesday night. So final thoughts here, Andy, as we wrap up. And I feel like we've stayed on topic tonight outside of me trying to figure out where I was. But other than that, any final thoughts before we conclude?
Well, it's just been I've talked to a few fans just in passing, and, they talk about the season and, it's been a weird season, but it's good to watch hockey. And I think we've talked about it before. Final thoughts for me are just enjoy the hockey and enjoy watching the players play. And Even though you're not in the building, I'm hoping next September and October that the fans will be back here with us. And I think for Portland, I think it's 2 big wins, 2 confidence building wins that they need heading into Tuesday night against Everett, and hopefully the good play continues into Tuesday night, because I think a win over Everett on Tuesday will definitely maybe buoy the confidence a little bit. Not that it was necessarily lacking, but I think it just gives me even more confidence heading into Friday night, and then hopefully next Saturday that the Winterhawks will be able to play in Kennewick. We won't know that for sure, or play against Kennewick, I should say, because we won't know for sure on that until the league decides if Tri-Cities could regain or get back to playing.
Yep, exactly. Closing thoughts for me is just, we're working hard, trying to get to these games and cover the games. Make sure you're following us on social media and checking out PNW Hockey Talk. We've got a couple of features that are coming out this week. I'm sure the Andy Kemper After the Whistle blog might make its triumphant return here. So a lot coming there. I know Brandon Rivers is excited to get back with his 5 for reading. So make sure to check us out, PNW Hockey Talk. Trying to cover the U.S. division as best we can in these challenging situations with things over Zoom and all that. So again, thankful to be in the building. I don't take it for granted each night when we come in here. So I know there's a lot of people who would love to be here and trade spots. So hopefully you guys are enjoying it, at least finding a way to still enjoy a hockey season. At least there's some games and some things to talk about, and the players and the staff are definitely ready for fans to be back in the building. I can't imagine what these 2 games would have been like with fans. It would have been a rocking crowd, probably over at the Moda Center if this was a regular season type deal or real type season. So hopefully you're still able to find games. Stay positive. And we'll wrap up here. So thank you, Andy, for doing this, and we will catch you next time, and we'll see you all on Tuesday night when the Portland Winterhawks host the Everett Silvertips, 5 o'clock.
Vaccinated, folks.